Welcome, everybody. This is Left Claw Studios. We are joined by Lurch and Squirrel.
Good. I like how you paused there in the name of our studio. We're Left Claw.
I was going to just stop it at Left Claw, and I was like, no, we should say studio.
It's brought to you by Montana Recreation.
And this is the thing we're talking about today.
Pull it up a little closer to the camera there, buddy.
Oh, sorry. Here you go.
Yeah.
Look at that beautiful woman.
I don't think he got the reference I just made.
What did you say?
I said, welcome. Right. I said, welcome. Or no, I fucked it up again. Yeah. I said, brought to you by Montana Recreations, because it's a quest in the game.
Oh my goodness. I know exactly the one you're talking about.
You know what she's talking about? Yeah. That was pretty great. I love that.
So last time we did a spoiler cast.
Zero Dawn. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so first of all, last time we were doing a spoiler cast, we were all together. We are not all together, so if one of us talks over the other one, there's a slight delay.
Yeah.
So,
and we're having to do like a video conference meeting call for today, so...
Right. First of all, I've loved Horizon Zero Dawn for so fucking long, since it came out. The second it played it. And we had kind of like a discussion last Spoilercast about like where it's set. I've decided to say it's a 10 out of 10, not because it's perfect, but you know, it's because like for me personally. So that's not news. But us here, we're talking about it, and I want to know what Lurch what Lurch thinks about it, and then we'll devolve from there.
Yeah. So Squirrel and Allie, or wow, Squirrel and Angel.
You told me not to say it.
Wow. Both have both played the game a few times through. How many times have you played it now?
Like, I played it like 3 times.
So Squirrel's played it through 3 times. Angel, you're at what? 7, 8, 9 times?
I'm on the 7th time now.
I didn't get to play it anymore because my kid took over her PS4. So.
Ha.
I wonder if it was on my. I wonder if it's on PS Now, and if you could have played it on your PC through that. That would have been neat.
Dude, that'd have been awesome. I mean, it is out on PC now, so
yeah, and that was.
I'm so excited about that. I can just buy my own copy now.
Yeah.
I'm a PC gamer.
Yeah, so it coming out on PC a week ago is what inspired us to try to do this little video. This little. I hadn't played the game until this last week or so. I played it for about 87 hours. I got the Platinum Trophy, and I got the 100% game completion within the game for both the main game and the Frozen Wilds, which coincidentally is not tied to the trophies. There's not a trophy for 100% completion.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
Yeah. I got to 100% game completion, and I still had a handful of trophies to get.
That's hilarious.
And I didn't get a trophy specific. I got trophies along the way for other things, you know. Yeah, but so I think something that's important is I don't get trophies for most games. I don't trophy hunt most stuff, right? But I ended up enjoying this game enough that I put in the extra time to get the Platinum Trophy.
Wow.
And to get the 100% completion, because I wasn't done. Like, I finished the storyline, I finished the main game, I reached max level, and I was like, I'm not quite ready to put the controller down yet. Like, I don't want to start over from scratch, but I'm not done with this world yet. So I'm going to go ahead and continue and finish off the rest of these side quests that I didn't tie up before. I was trying to get through the storyline a little, I meandered a lot. I was wanting to try to focus on the story. My plan was to mostly focus on the storyline, the main storyline, so I can get through it quicker to be ready for the spoiler cast. But I kept getting distracted because these like little side quests were so interesting.
Do you have ADHD?
I'm maybe a little bit. I don't know. But this game made it look like it, because I was like 55 hours into the game when I was like, I need to finish this main storyline eventually.
That's hilarious.
The thing about open world MMO gamers, the main quest, and then got distracted.
Yes, yeah,
that was you.
Don't you know that in the next day I'm going to destroy the whole world? Yeah, but I need to go. I need to go fetch some new clothes first. For the fetch those clothes, I need to spend 100 hours doing these other side quests. But
I am going to kill everybody!
Yeah, that was a really fun skit. And it's a great example of how these games are. There's like this impending doom. But this impending doom can wait a minute.
Yeah, you need to collect all these fire weeds.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I need that new bow. I need the new work basket.
It's like, have you seen my outfit? It's atrocious!
Man, I will say, I was disappointed in the flowers collection. For some reason, I had this belief that collecting all the flowers would give me some sort of like shaders or something, alternate colors. Because I was thinking these metal flowers, I don't know, maybe I've seen this in another game like Assassin's Creed or something, where you're able to like collect flowers that let you then create different alternate colors for existing outfits or something like that. But I don't remember what it got me for collecting all the flowers, but it wasn't really much.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think he gave you an outfit box that you had to open.
Yeah, it gave me
to get an outfit.
The items were okay. I don't remember them. I can't remember what they were.
But the box, the flowers contain coating of Gaia, like residual coating of Gaia. When you click on you get like some added information, which you and I were talking about earlier. I found out the actual time between the apocalypse as it happened and the current events of the game is exactly 972 years.
Years?
Yeah.
Than I thought it was, but not as long as you were thinking it was.
Yeah, so we weren't right in the middle, but we were in the middle there somewhere. So
yeah. All right, so. How many generations do you think, then, if they've been 972 years, I think you said, how many of those years have humans been alive?
It has been a while since I collected all of the shit. I believe it said there was like 2 or 3 generations where it was like in between where we're at now. Like, I think that where we're at now happened like 100 years of, like, people existed. Who knows?
I know they said that, if I remember right, Gaia said that they had to wait at least 300 years until humans started actually being able to grow.
Right.
Because of everything else that needed to be done in place. So I could see it being, I could see them getting to the 300-year mark and be like, no, not quite right, reset. But then it only takes, like, 100 years or 150 years to do a reset from that point, Yeah. Because they're not fighting the machines at that point. Yeah, they're just got to make more adjustments to the terraforming.
Yeah. I think the more important, like the metal flowers are supposed to kind of give like context, and I think that's the metal flowers are created because it's my belief Gaia isn't all the way gone.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think she's completely gone.
Because the flowers. You saw real flowers being, like, in a triangle, perfectly, something that wouldn't happen naturally in nature, surrounding those flowers. And those flowers, metal flowers, have kind of like a poetry to them in code.
Yeah,
so,
which the poetry thing came up, was actually talked about by the other AI that we talked to. What was that AI's called? The one on the Frozen Wilds?
Yeah, I cannot remember her name. It's a weird name.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd name.
It's,
yeah. A lot of names are odd names.
I recently played the game, but I did not recently play the Frozen Wilds DLC. So I'm not as up to date on that as you are at the moment.
Cyan. C-Y-A-N.
Right,
That's
Cyan. And she's a protocol. She's not actually a true AI, is she?
She's an AI, just not quite as developed as Gaia was. In fact, if I remember right, I think they specifically talked about how Gaia or Cyan was like broaching that threshold of exceeding the legality of the Turing test grades. Because Now, isn't that an interesting concept? Like, you're not allowed to build an AI that's too smart, that's too human-like. If it scores too well in the Turing test, which, for anyone not familiar with the Turing test, it's basically kind of a test for an AI to take to try to help determine how human-like it is, how convincingly human-like it thinks and can communicate.
Yeah,
and in the time before in Horizon, when the humans were, more prevalent and there are billions of them, they had passed a law that says you can't build an AI that's too human-like. I guess they were concerned about the Matrix happening or something, right?
I mean, it's great. Gosh,
what happened.
I remember falling in love with the personality of Cyan, though. Like there's just the interaction. It's not quite like GLaDOS will always be my favorite AI. If I have to have a favorite AI, it has to be GLaDOS.
The best homicidal little robot.
Well, honestly, the best homicidal little AI beyond GLaDOS would have to be fucking
the sad robot from
what?
No, the robot from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
That is such a sad little. Didn't Snape voice him?
I don't know.
Alan Rickman?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he voiced him.
I think you might be right. The really depressed robot.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I could be
He's
mistaken.
pretty great. He's pretty great.
If we're wrong, let us know in the comments.
But Wheatley is my favorite. I mean, if we're talking about in terms of homicidal, Wheatley is my favorite because he's such an idiot at it. Wheatley is in Portal 2. Have you played Portal 2?
Oh yeah. He's such a goof.
He puts GLaDOS in a potato, and that's the best fucking thing in the world.
Yeah.
So what do you think about? Okay, so what do you think about the animal designs or the machine designs? I mean,
okay, yeah, the machine designs were pretty great. It was curious how they were all designed off of various animals, some of them modern and some of them prehistoric. And I liked that conversation that you get to hear between Gaia and Dr. Sobek about how she's kind of sad about the extinctions of, previous, species. And so you get to see that with the fucking Thunderjaws, these, like, prehistoric dinosaur-like things.
It's interesting to me that we had the technology, she had the technology to kind of make that world.
Yeah.
She had, because we have DNA of dinosaurs. Like, those exist. So, or at least, de-evolving chickens. So it is legitimately strange to me that, that she just didn't, instead of foxes, make little tiny velociraptors.
That would have been. I mean,
been terrifying.
A real life velociraptor is only a little bit bigger than a chicken.
Yeah, it's very tiny. Like,
yeah.
So I think that'd have been great, honestly, with a kind of I mean, because it's not like they weren't already dealing with giant, vicious machines and killing them. They could have handled little tiny chicken dinosaurs.
Yeah, little chicken-sized dinosaurs.
Overwhelm you with their numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're definitely pack hunters, but she could have done anything, like Stegosaurus. Those aren't going to hurt you.
Yeah. So I find it fascinating though how she could have built.
She did do the long neck thing.
Gaia and Hephaestus could have built machines that looked like anything they wanted to terraform the world, and they specifically designed them to look like animals that actually used to exist.
That's the best thing in the world, and you can tell that you can see some of the weapons were put on those machines erroneously. Like Hades put Hades instructed Hephaestus to place those guns because
Hephaestus did it because we started killing the machines, and he wanted his machines to be able to protect themselves.
Yeah, so my understanding is early machines, the earlier machines didn't have weapons on them. You know, you got your grazers, you got your striders, and, you know, you got a lot of these ones that didn't have weapons per se on them. They could attack with their paws or whatever. And then, as humans hunted the machines, Hephaestus started making ones that were better at self-defense. And then when those continued to get hunted, he then started specifically making ones to hunt hunt the hunters.
Right.
Yeah.
And
because he went rogue because he was no longer controlled by Gaia.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So what do you think? Okay. So yeah. Dinosaurs killing you. What do you think about the mechanics of the game, the gameplay mechanics based around that, about your interaction with those things? Whether you're killing them or like capturing them.
Overriding?
Yeah.
So I think the overriding is like one of my favorite functions that got added to it that you were able to do. And then, you know, it was good that you had to like work your way up to it. I did that the very first one, that was Sigma or whatever that the girl tells you about early in the game. Mm-hmm. Right? That was the first one I did, like anyone would, for the most part, with the cauldrons. But then my second cauldron I did, because I went so long without happening across another cauldron.
I saw your map. I was like, dude, okay, how many cauldrons have you done? He's like, none, I can't find any. And I'm like, dude, your map, you didn't touch any of the edges at all. And, like, all the cauldrons are on the edges of the map. And you just, like, skipped every single one of them.
I touched edges of the map, but not where the cauldrons were. I managed to, like, perfectly go around them.
Yeah, there was this one cauldron that it was, like, you could see the cloudiness, like, just go over the cauldron, and that's it. Had he gone in 500 meters in that one direction, he'd have seen the cauldron. And that's...
Not even that. It was probably like 150 meters. Steps. I think that's measurements and steps and not meters.
I think it has an M afterwards, but yeah.
Huh?
I think it has an M afterwards.
No, the icon, it looks like a little image of feet.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, so, like, you were so close.
I think it's in measurements of steps, like a stride, like an average person's step.
Yeah.
Which would make sense that they'd use a different metric for measuring in this world. Why would they measure in meters or in feet?
Right.
But measuring in how many steps it takes to get someplace makes perfect sense. That's something I try to think about that for a minute. I was like, why is that the icon for distance so bizarre? It doesn't say meters, doesn't say feet. What is that in? And I realized, like, as I was running, it was like it seemed to be going down one count per step that I took.
So
I'd be running.
So what have you done like, what was your favorite thing you did while overwriting? Was there like a funny story you had about what you could do?
Let's see. I don't know. I know I got a little bit frustrated when they had to do the challenge. There was a hunting grounds where you had to override. Well, you could either knock the weapon off of a Thunderjaw and use it to kill 2 Ravagers, or override the Thunderjaw and let it destroy the Ravagers. And I repeatedly did the override option. And I would override the Thunderjaw, and he was too slow at killing the Ravagers, and it was really pissing me off. To get those.
So you didn't try to chip off the Ravagers until they had a little bit of health, and then let him kill it. You just let him wail on the Ravagers by themselves.
It damaged them some. The big thing I did was I tied them down with ropes. I remember the one that got the closest, right? One of them got destroyed. There was one left. It was down to like 1 hit left before it died, right? And
then the timer went away.
It didn't have much. It didn't have much health left. But it seemed like to be like moving out of the way faster than the Thunderjaw could hit it. So then I used the rope caster and tied him down so he couldn't move. And then as he's stuck there, the Thunderjaw then just like stands and roars at him for 15 more seconds.
Oh my
without
god.
touching him as the time expires, as the time for the Blazing Thunder expires. And I'm like yelling at the screen. I'm going, F you, Thunderjaw, just hit the guy. Stop roaring. No, roar, no. smash it, bite it, step on it, something, kill this guy.
Wow.
One touch will finish him off, and he's just raw, fucking T-Rex style, scaring things like Jurassic Park. He killed him, but not until after the time lapse, you know.
Who's your favorite to override?
My favorite to override?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the sawtooth ones, maybe.
Sawtooths
they
are fun.
And like bite into them.
Yeah, I like
it's kind of amusing.
I love to override watchers. There are some points in the game where you have to fight enemies, like humans, and they'll have like some watcher sentinels, like red eyes, waiting.
I take back my answer. My favorite ones to override were the long legs.
Oh, because
watching them like run and like leap and like flail their feet at the enemies was amusing.
That's my exact reasoning for watchers. Just they look so cool. The watchers is like fucking jumping in the air and then like tackling somebody. Yeah. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, the watchers looked cool, but their attack level was so poor that they were a distraction more than a threat.
I love the fact that they were distractions personally. Yeah. Like I mean that's what I utilized. You know, I'd attack them while they're attacking them. You know what I mean?
I always attacked himself and nobody could ever find me.
Yeah. Now, I want to bring up the corruption arrows for a second, because I remember you asking me, when I was like 60 hours into the game, you asked me how great are the corruption arrows. I was like, the what?
I thought you'd be getting them a lot earlier, and I didn't know why, but...
I could have, but I didn't. It required, I think, a trampler heart, and I didn't happen to get a trampler heart for a long time. And I didn't like actively seek them out. I didn't. I don't remember what the deal was. But then when I finally got them, by the time I got them, I was in the frozen wilds. By the time
my god!
Yeah. So I was in the frozen wilds trying to use these corruption arrows, and turns out the demonic machines are immune to corruption arrows. So corruption arrows are completely useless to me.
In the frozen wilds. Yeah. Oh my god.
Totally useless. And so then I was frustrated. I was like, I remember I was telling you, I was like, these corruption arrows suck. I shoot someone.
I was like, what?
For like a second. It's long enough for them to look at the other machine, and then they turn right back to me. And that's all it would do. It would get people's attention in my direction because it didn't do nothing. But after I finished Frozen Wilds and I went back down to the main parts of the game to try to tie up the loose ends of the side quests, I hit level 60. This is where they really came in handy. When I got to level 60 and I just didn't feel like fighting machines anymore, and I was just trying to find the flowers and find all the collectibles and shit, and I come up upon a group of machines, I just hit a couple of them with corruption arrows, let them fight each other, and then run on by.
That's awesome.
Without having to fight anybody. That was great.
Have you ever... well, corruption arrows can also make humans go crazy.
I never used one on a human.
Yeah, it'll make... If you use it on a boss, you know, the one with the skull on their heads, you'll get them to just go crazy. You'll go like, you know, like fucking... go nuts on people. And, like, they'll all attack him until he's dead. Even after the effects are gone, they'll still consider him an enemy.
That's pretty sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, so...
By the time I got to there, though, even the bosses were like one-hit kills.
Yeah, you really did probably... Well, and that's what I was saying before. In the harder modes, they're actually very useful. For the same reasons you were saying earlier, to just get by a few, like, machines.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's an issue with my very hard trophy, apparently, and we'll talk about that after, maybe. But I'm going to be doing very hard again. This time I'll be a lot more prepared, because, like...
ultra hard?
Yeah, ultra hard, yeah. It's going to be fantastic.
Cool. I was going to ask Squirrel what your favorite override
Yes, was. Yes, that's a...
I'm not really sure, honestly. honestly.
That was it.
I just liked to override everything, so I didn't have to fuck with it.
That's that's a very reasonable response because although I have like a particular one that I like to see happen, I'll fucking override everything. Like if there's an opportunity for me to do it, I'll fucking do it.
Yeah, I'll override what's nearby. I think my favorite individual. I think my favorites because that story I shared earlier about the Thunderjaw was a story of being frustrated, right? But my favorite incident of actually using override going well was there was this part in the Frozen Wilds where there's 2 frost claws, and one of them is demonic and one of them is not. Not frost claws, fire claws, which are far more dangerous than frost claws.
Yes.
Frost claws were kind of wusses. Fire claws were dangerous as crap.
They're a pain in the ass.
And there were two fire claws, but one was demonic, one was not. So I snuck in there and overrode the non-dynamic one.
I think I know the one you're talking about, right? It's in the indent with that giant field surrounded by like an oval. Is that the one I'm talking about?
No. It wasn't quite in there. That was 2 frost claws.
Gotcha.
And that was in the hunting grounds area. The 2 fire claws were a final side quest that happens after you finish the main story, where someone's like, "There's 2," because you find out from like Hephaestus produced 5 fire claws that he released.
Oh yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
So it's like a post game quest, or whatever. Find 5 of them, and 2 of them were together. And I was like, man, those guys are a pain about to fight one-on-one. And they were right by each other. Fighting 2 at the same time was just going to be a nightmare. Then I recognized one of them was demonic, so I stealthed my way in, overrode one, and then let it kill the other one. And then once I finished killing that one, then I killed him.
I don't think I ever did that. Was there a machine you never got an opportunity to override?
No, I made an effort to override everything.
There is still, to this day, the Stormbird. I've never overridden a Stormbird.
Oh yeah?
I try, and they always find me.
I overrided one before I killed one.
Really?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I tied it down with ropes, and there was a main quest. It was during a main quest, and you're going out up in the snowy area to get to. I think it's when you're going to Gaia Prime, and the Stormbird attacks you.
Yeah, you gotta go climb up the sheer cliff, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta climb up the sheer cliff, and then you got a ways to walk in snow, and then and the Stormbird attacks you. And there's like a short cutscene of it attacking you. Well, it comes down, and as it's doing its little thing where it's like kind of woggling towards you with its wings spread out, and it's put down electricity, I hit it with a whole bunch of ropes and tied it down, and then it fell over, and I ran up and I overrided it, and then it was clear.
Oh my god. I've not been able to sneak up on one.
Huh?
I've just never been able to sneak up on one.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
There's not a way to sneak up on them because they just fly around. You're not able to sneak up on one that's walking.
During the quest where you have to deactivate all of the little tiny boxes that we're calling the birds,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That one is actually on the ground sometimes, and you can sneak up to him through the grass. But I always alert him.
It's on the ground, but I think it's on the ground perched a little bit above, so I don't think it's quite in a spot where you could override him.
So that's the only machine of all my playthroughs, and I haven't made a huge attempt. Generally, if I see a Stormbird, I want to fight it. It's a fun battle.
Yeah. The very first time I saw a Stormbird, I was not prepared for it. I was way under-leveled, under-equipped. Like, I didn't even have shadow equipment yet.
Wow.
I wandered a little too far north. I just wanted to keep traveling around and shit. And I got up into this area that looked like Arizona or some crap. And... the Stormbird attacked me, and like one blast from it took 80% of my health. And I couldn't tie that one down. Like, I only had the original ropecaster back then. I didn't have the Lodge ropecaster or anything.
Yeah,
else.
it took you a long time to upgrade your ropecaster.
Yeah, and so I didn't. Most of my my best weapons were Karja at that time, and that was not prepared for Stormbird at all. In fact, I think I only had 2 outfits. One that had, I think only one of my outfits, I think, had modifiers at the time.
Wow.
I think I had 1 modification slot, and then its main stat was stealth. So I'm like, okay, I got increased stealth and in 1 mod slot, and a Stormbird's attacking me over and over again from the spawn point.
You sent me a video, and you were about to touch on this, and I think we got derailed. You sent me a video of the very second cauldron you ever did, and it was the ending cauldron. It was like Zeta.
Yeah, I was going to mention that earlier. The first cauldron I found just on my own, the random one I found, was the one that overrides Stormbirds and all the last ones.
Yeah,
the last cauldron.
Yeah, to fight the T-Rex, the Thunderjaw.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Like, I get done with it, and then I find out what it gives me, and I was like, seriously? Like, I can't do the long legs, I can't do the stalkers, I can't do any of these. I can do a Thunderjaw and a Stormbird.
So that one was pretty cut and dry. That cauldron specifically was very cut and dry. You just walk in and then fight the Thunderjaw. When you finally got the chance to like explore longer cauldrons, what did you think of that experience of like the very dungeon like feel?
I was a little surprised at how long some of them got. They were interesting experiences. There was one in particular, though, that I was like, God, I wish this thing would just end. I've been in this place forever.
I know the one you're talking about.
Do you?
Yeah.
It was kind of like I suddenly was Mac from S.H.I.E.L.D. and I hated robots and I needed the axe shotgun.
That's hilarious. I mean, it took forever. It's not like there's a lot of like puzzle solving involved. Yeah. You're just kind of like going through like really a linear path. But I mean, yeah. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, it was areas that looked like they were puzzle solving, but really it's just pretty obvious. Oh, there's a yellow thing to grab onto. I'll grab onto that. See where it takes me. Oh, it's up to this ledge. I'll drop off on this ledge. Where can I go from here? Oh, there's a yellow thing over there. So it was just follow the yellow dot.
In my very first playthrough, I thought that the cauldrons were a lot more important than they were. So I specifically tried to go around finding them when I learned that there's like a signal you can lock onto. I specifically, like, I was very under-leveled whenever I went to that one specifically, and I think that's the one that unlocks the long legs.
The one that gives you the Stormbirds?
No.
The one that's really long. The one that's really long.
Yeah, the one that's really long gives you the long leg unlock, I believe.
Irony?
No.
It could be.
But what did you think about it? The like in general? In
general, I thought the cauldrons were cool. I like, because you got the certain gameplay loop, right? Your main gameplay loop: find a monster and learn its vulnerabilities and take it down. But it's good to break away from that particular gameplay loop and do other things sometimes, as long as the other things are interesting. And for the most part, the cauldrons were an interesting break from the main gameplay loop. Even if that one went on a little bit long, otherwise, I think they were interesting deviations.
Angel, Lurch, I have questions for you.
Okay.
Yeah. What was your favorite side quest?
My favorite side quest was the one where the father, and I forget the name of the town, but the father stops you and is like, he's looking in the river in his hometown, and he's trying to find his daughter. And do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And it turns out that she's being trapped by a fucking alligator robot, and Snapmaw. She can't, then you learn, then you have to go try to rescue her love, which is actually a part of the Shadow Karja. And then you're too late to fucking get that guy. And then she goes home and wants to kill herself, so you have to kind of, convince the father to stop doing work and pay attention to your daughter for once in your fucking life.
Yeah, right?
And then you bring together a family, and he's like, "Thank you so much for giving me the second chance." And I'm like, "Holy shit! I just changed this dude's life, and this daughter's life forever."
I remember when I was doing that, and I found the 2 bed cots. Like, oh, she's sneaking out here with a dude, or some kind of secret lover, whether it's a dude or not. Mm-hmm. She's sneaking out here for a secret lover that she doesn't want her dad to know about. Because she's lying. She's like, "Yeah, I'm out here by myself." And Aloy's like, I think I'm going to look around. No, there's no reason to look around. I'm going to look around, especially now that you said not to.
But wasn't that the longest fucking swim of your life of any video game?
What's that?
Wasn't that the longest fucking swim of your life? Twice!
Yeah.
It's 2 long fucking swims.
Aloy even comments on it. She's like, well, this is going to be a long swim.
What about you, Lurch?
I did have one other swim that was longer because I was looking for a metal flower. Yeah, the question. Okay, my favorite side quest might have been the one where you rescue that prince and his mom.
Oh yeah.
Or that Sun King, the child Shadow Sun King.
Right. Oh, that was such a good one. Because you could just see that they're using him as a head post.
Yeah.
Kind of tearing up a little bit, and it was adorable.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Hit him in the field.
This kid's just being used as a pawn to get what the adults want.
The side quests are rarely ever something meaningless. You always it's usually something profound. You know.
That's something I was wanting to say. Is the side quests in this game almost didn't really feel like side quests. They felt like small main quests,
Yeah.
Because there was always kind of a big deal about them all, Yeah. Even when I got down to the very end, and I was just wanted to try to finish them up because I only had 2 side quests left. I was like, all right, I just tie these up real quick, and then I'm doing things, and then they're talking about shit. I was like, oh shit, this feels important, there's weight to them, you
went the whole game. There was a main quest you were supposed to follow, because there's 3 branching main quests, and you didn't do one of them, and it's super fucking important. It should have been done halfway through the fucking game. And I'm you were I was trying to complete the game, but it says I need to complete this quest first. And I'm he's I need to find Aaron's sister. And I'm you really should. That's really important to do. You should get on that.
Where Looming Shadow was on the list of quests, but I would click on it to make it active. It was this quest is not available until you complete Aaron's, finding Aaron's sister or whatever. And I was ah, crap.
It's you just left her there suffering for days.
Yeah.
You're not a very good savior.
Beyond, days in real life time.
Yeah, in real life time. Not even just, video game time probably was weeks.
Yeah, because I was 20 hours in when I got the quest assigned to me, and I was 60 hours in when I finally pursued it,
Oh my god. She's just suffering in pain for months in game.
Yeah, just that noise machine.
Yeah, wop, 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 wop. Fucking hilarious. You cracked me up.
There was quite a few times where you go to rescue someone just to catch them as they're dying. It happened a few times. The last 2, the 2 of the quests we just talked about. You go to rescue someone just as they die.
In my very first playthrough, I missed out the opportunity. I killed... what was his name? Oren? The dude who... the dude who had the thing. The very first playthrough, I did that. And then I learned, and I'm I'm going to do something different next time. and apparently he's super helpful. And you realize his family was a thing. I was like, you deserve to die. You brought all this on me. You killed my father, Rost, by your actions. You know what I mean? But, that was pretty impactful. I would say that's my second favorite quest, was helping him out. Yeah.
I'll say I'm happy that I played a pretty merciful Aloy.
And hold on. To finish the thought, I liked it, not necessarily... the story part was great, but the gameplay was super fun. Rescuing his wife and son was really fun. Like, that entire mission was wonderfully set up.
Did you let him help you rescue?
No, I did it all by myself.
Okay. I let him help me on my run.
I was afraid he would die on the second run that I did.
Yeah, I was worried he might die, but I was also like, it's your family. You should be involved in rescuing your family, especially with the fact that you caused all this trouble. You caused me a lot of trouble for your family, so you're going to help with getting your family back.
That would have been smarter to do. I still have not done a playthrough where I let him help me.
I don't know if he can die in that particular thing. I would guess that he could.
I was about to say, I believe that you can allow some of those guys to die, because there are, obviously, because there are penalties involved at the end of the game. If you don't make, certain relationships, then you don't get the full help.
Yeah, for the Looming Shadow mission?
Yeah.
Or not Looming Shadow.
No, the one after that.
The one after Looming Shadow, whatever it was called.
Where you're saving the thing,
Fire Day or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, with the Doom robots.
Which, I gotta say, that was that conclusion, the final mission of the story, was a very satisfying sequence.
I cannot recall, and this has a lot to do with how much I liked it, was the ending to a video game is just as important as the journey there. It can be. And that was, for me, the most satisfying video game I've ever played, ending-wise. I've never...
Except for Silence, Derek.
What?
I fucking hate Silence and him walking off of Hades.
Yeah. Hades, we're gonna get there towards the end of the thing.
Alright.
But that is something we definitely... Because I want to talk about what's going to be happening in Horizon 2.
Yeah. Forbidden West.
Yeah. So the... But what did you like about the ending quest? How amazing was it, being a part of those cannons?
Yeah, so being able to use those big cannon things to blow up these... The disruptors, I think is they're called?
Yeah.
Or... Corruptors?
There's corruptors and destroyers, I think is what they're called.
Disruptors, I can't remember.
Okay, so there's corruptors is the ones with the scorpion tail.
Yeah.
And destroyers are the ones with the two fucking...
Yeah. So they had waves of those destroyers coming in, and you just get to use these cannons to blow them all away.
It's amazing.
And that was great, because those things are tough, right? At that point in the game, that was the hardest machines to fight against. Mm-hmm. And you were able to just blow them away with these crazy cannons that are just sucking in what looks like coal. And that was really cool. And you're having jump back and forth between a couple of different cannons because for the armor, for the defense and everything.
Because they keep blowing them up.
So you're not entirely stationary on one spot just here. You have to move back and forth. And
there's helpers of your allies that you've come up who's bringing you shit and just there's so much happening. Everybody's talking at once, yelling. You gotta check out paths and shit. It's great.
Yeah, and then you get to the very end when you're up on top next to the spire, fighting the disruptor, and then they're bringing in more machines to attack you. And you got your allies that you helped throughout the game, helping destroy the other machines, which mostly let me focus on fighting the destroyer. And I'm just jumping up and precision shooting its little cannons all over it and everything.
Did you make a lot of use of the slow motion from the jumping?
Yes, after I figured it out, after I figured out I could do it, I used it a ton.
Yes, it's super fucking useful.
I also was using it with the slide, too.
What was your favorite alley? I'm sorry, squirrel. Squirrel. What was your favorite side mission? Because, like, we kind of got away from that.
Honestly, did you realize that you went to Yellowstone National Park in the game?
I'm sorry, what?
It has Yellowstone National Park in the game.
Oh, yes. Was that your favorite mission where you can, like, see all of the displays?
Yeah. I like, because I'm a nature nut.
What did you... well, explain what happened for us. Explain what happens.
Well, you had to... you come across this guy in this room that has a figure on a pedestal. And if you walk up to it and touch the thing, it comes up with a hologram of the animal. Mm. But you have to travel all over to find these different figures, and then they go on their own corresponding pedestals. That guy is fucking hilarious. He's like, I want to be like Montana Recreations someday.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy that's like living there thinks that Montana Recreations is the first and last name of a person.
Yeah.
From the old days, from the old world.
I love his description of the animals.
Yeah. like there's like the magnificent grizzly bear brought to you by Montana Recreations. And then the girl Aloy, she's like, wouldn't want to meet one of those in the woods. And then the guy's like, why not? They look really fluffy. I'd love to pet it.
He's like, well,
oh my god.
It's me in a video game.
And then there was like the deer. Like, he's looking at the deer and he's like, it doesn't seem to have any sharp teeth. Perhaps it used its horns to attack its prey, to kill its prey.
God, that was such a fun, wholesome mission.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very rewarding in the fact that you laughed a lot.
I think he said that the cougar, he believed, was like a underground burrowing creature because of the color of its fur.
Yeah, he was very bright.
Oh my god. I fucking... that whole mission makes sense, canonically.
Yeah.
Someone would do that.
And Squirrel was so excited for me to find it. Like, I was, like, near the building. And she's like, oh, you gotta go to that house. You gotta go to the house. And I was like, why? It's just, sure, I'll go there. Why are you so excited? She's like, just wait till you see it. And I get inside, and it's not the one she thought it was. And she's like, it's somewhere near here. Keep looking. You gotta find the right one.
Something, both of you. The girls, who were a part of that hydro factory, who were making a band. How fucking amazing. I was so interested in their back and forths. Like, it was like a soap opera. Do you want to explain it?
Most of the little holographic audio recordings I just listened to the one time, just for the thing. There specifically, I listened to almost the whole thing twice through.
once as you were going, and then once all together.
Yeah, it was pretty great. And then someone else, I forget who it was. Someone else referenced them. Oh, there was it got referenced in the Frozen Wilds at the very least when you help a girl who's playing drums off of pipe systems like that.
Yeah,
I remember that quest.
Yeah. Then there's that quest to help her get the tools or to clear out the drums, and then she is talking about how she's inspired by that band or whatever. They must have been amazing in their day or something like that.
That's amazing. I am so fucking... I was so in love with that whole... because it was like... I want to know them. It was so well written by the staff. And the whole hydro... Or the entire, like water pump area was super fun to me for, no reason.
Well, that guy that you're helping there was an interesting character.
Yes, he was.
I actually, I teared up a little bit in that specific mission because that guy is so similar to my my late Uncle Steve, who had a very similar personality to him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was really close to my Uncle Steve and had a very similar personality to that guy.
God.
And so for me personally, that was a really
like
great moment.
That fictional character had to have been inspired by someone. So, Allie, I want to know, what is your favorite machine in the whole game?
Yeah, I don't.
What's the coolest looking one?
I like the Stormbirds.
Stormbirds are awesome.
Yeah. They're awesome when they're not kicking your butt. or getting annoyed.
I killed, so I don't know what your problem is.
They're my favorite. They're certainly my favorite machines to fight. I think the battle for them is so interesting.
It's challenging.
Yeah, and keeping them to the ground is great and all, but they thrash around even on the ground. They can take you out if you're not careful.
Yeah. So you think it's not one of the horse robots?
And
what's the upgraded mount from the horse? It's like a bull thing.
Charger.
Yeah.
Charger.
Chargers are awesome.
I really like those too.
You're talking about Longhorns. Longhorns are the ones with the long horns, or the one with the curly horns.
The
curly horns.
Chargers.
Yeah, you can. The Longhorns are called Tramplers, and I don't think you can ride those.
No, not Tramplers. There's so there is the regular horses. Then there's the Longhorns, and you can ride those. And then there's Chargers, and Longhorns look like bulls, not buffalo, which are the Tramplers.
A bull and a buffalo look virtually the same, except a buffalo has hair.
You have never seen a buffalo, then, if you think that, sir.
Have you never seen an Indian bull? If you say that.
Broadheads.
Broadheads.
Yeah, the broadheads are the Longhorns, I guess.
Yeah.
I forgot about them. So yeah, there's 3 of them.
Okay.
I honestly didn't use the mount very much.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
I use it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I like instant gratification, so I was like, fuck this, and just ran.
Yeah, I use them quite a bit at my end-game stuff, so I can, try to skip by guys. Mm-hmm. But, until I reached a certain point, I was, killing everything I came across, and collecting every plant I came across, and it just wasn't prudent to be on a mount while doing that. Also, not gonna lie, I am kind of getting a little burnt out on riding animals as mounts. Animal-like things, like horse-like things.
You were saying, the last 4 or 5 games you played have had a mount.
Yeah, I just finished playing Assassin's Creed Origins, where you ride camels and horses, and then there was this one weird chocobo hybrid with a camel that I had. And then before that was Last of Us 2, where you ride a horse, and then Red Dead Redemption 2 before that, where I spent 100 hours on a horse, and then I don't know what the game was just before that, but I feel pretty confident that I was on a horse on that too. And so, I've been in horses constantly for ages. I feel like the last 400 hours of gameplay, not counting our live streams that we've been doing of Cuphead and Overwatch. Other than those, I think everything I've been doing on video games has been involved me riding on a horse in the game. Until after playing Horizon, I did have to just kind of boot up an old classic game I could get through kind of quick, and I played some Metal Gear Solid. No horse riding in that Metal Gear game anyway.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I know there's one in the 5th one, because I made it to that point before I quit because of the fucking specters. Those were fucking garbage. fires.
Which, even though you can get your horse in Metal Gear Solid 5 to poop on command, it's still the worst companion. If you ask me.
What?
Why?
That's awesome.
What's awesome? That he's the worst, or that he'll poop on command?
That is poop on command.
Yeah. If you make him poop on the road and a car hits that poop, it'll spin out of control and wreck.
That's amazing.
Oh, okay.
So it's no secret that I hate mounts. It's no secret that I hate mounts. But the mounts, I hate mounting, like horses.
Yeah. And then not long before that, we were filming doing what was that game you were playing? The game was great, just having to ride a horse.
Shadow of the Colossus?
Shadow of the Colossus, wow. I was going to call Last Guardian, and I knew that was wrong. You can understand my mistake there, though. It's the same people. But yeah, that game, I remember you were like getting excited. I don't know if that game has the footage for that finished releasing yet. I remember you bitching about the horse on that.
I know. I think that we're just now starting to approach that, but that aspect of it. But yeah, when I was trying to make the long jump, and this is, if you guys see this, here's a little bit of a spoiler. Maybe you'll be interested. I had a very genuine reaction because I did not realize that the horse was going to die, and you had to jump a large cavern. And I've been bitching about this fucking horse the whole game. Just hated it, wishing it would die. And then when I accidentally fell off, and I was like, yay, whatever. And then it's like, like I'm back with the horse. I have to. We did some shenanigans. I jumped the thing, and then you have to Yoshi the horse. I had the most realistic, like that was 100% real. I had no idea that shit was going to happen, where you sacrifice your horse. In order to make that jump. It's the best fucking thing in the world. Like...
Started for me.
Yeah, I was... Oh, God, like, it was so weird how awesome that was. I'm just not a fan of, like, video game mounts in general. But the reason why I like Horizon's mounts is because when you're done with them, you can kill them for parts.
And it's even better when you get that perk that lets you whistle for a new one to appear, even if you didn't have one.
Yeah. Oh my god, how useful, right?
Yeah, that was really handy. Especially when you get tired of fighting everybody.
Especially if you're on an island in the middle of nowhere, and then you have a mount, and you whistle for one, it comes from behind the rocks. And then you're like... I'm just gonna fucking leave you here. And then you strand the horse there. That was like, yes, master? Master, don't leave me! Fucking... like, just swim away. That is dumb. I really enjoyed... I think that they did particularly well on the pathing system in this game.
Just to give you an idea about the, how little I cared about the mounts, how little I used the mounts, there's a trophy for using the dismount strike 5 times. I had to go out of my way to do that 4 additional times.
That's so funny.
I did it once naturally as I was playing it, and then I had to go out of my way to do it 4 more times to get that trophy. You don't have to do it a total of 5 times for the trophy. And I counted it. It's like, oh, there's 1. I didn't even remember if I'd done it yet. But I only had to count. I only had to count the 4, and it dinged for me.
That's so funny.
So yeah, that's how little I used the mounts until post game when I was just trying to like tie up loose ends and rushing through things. Because at max level, you don't get anything for killing machines really anymore. You don't get experience points, which I don't know about you guys, but part of my kind of cue that I successfully killed something is that little chime in the corner that shows machine kill and then XP points. When you're at level 60, when you're at max level, that doesn't happen anymore. So you just have to trust the visual cue of them falling over and dying.
Yeah.
But every now and then they'll have an animation that looks like they fell and they died, but they just like are hurt and they get back up. And that happened to me a couple of times, and they would get back up and hit me, especially when I was fighting 6 machines at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think I killed something because the way it fell, and his health was low, but it was just like stunned for a moment. And
So
then what's that?
I used my focus a whole lot more than you did, and I marked everything everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The mark goes away when they die.
Yeah, that's true. I used that a lot when I was needing to be stealthy, or when I was in like particularly dangerous areas.
Like bandit camps and stuff. It's super useful to know where they're walking.
Most of my deaths came from accidental falls. The one that pissed me off the most. I climbed up the side of a cliff to get to a metal flower. Just as I stand up at the top of this cliff, a glint hawk that was already in the process of swooping down, that I didn't know was in the process of swooping down, hits me. Like, I stand up and get hit in the chest by a glint hawk, and it knocks me backwards off the ledge, and I fall to my doom.
Oh my god.
And I was like... That was one of the moments where I wanted to throw my controller for a second, but I didn't have my squishy one out nearby.
By the way, he didn't throw the squishy one when he did throw it. I was there.
I didn't throw... Okay, I did throw one controller once during my run of Horizon.
Yes, and I was there for that.
Was it the challenge?
What was I was doing when I got... So,
on the challenge.
I think I was on...
I think you were on the Chieftain Challenge.
Yeah, the Chieftain Hunter Challenge in the Frozen Wilds. The hardest hunting challenge by far. You have to kill like 2 frost claws, 2 ice billowbacks, and 2 ravagers in less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And I had a run that was that I completed it. Like, I did it over and over and over again. And I was getting frustrated trying to figure out how the hell I'm supposed to pull this off. And at one point I ended up throwing my controller and I went to bed and then came back the next day, and then I stopped, and before actually doing the run, I stopped and just like looked at the environment and like figured out a strategy that then was able to get me, because I kept getting 6 to 8 minutes on when I was successful, 6 to 8 minutes, and then you have to get it in 4.5, less than 4.5. And so I had to piece together a thing, which I sent you the video of it too.
Yeah, it was an awesome fight.
Yeah.
It is my belief that you should. Anyone who wants to play this game, because there is a point where you're struggling, and then almost immediately you're overpowered, and like it's almost there's no overlap. So it is my belief that if you want to pick up this game and get the best experience, play it on hard mode, your very first playthrough. Because it is 100% challenging almost all the time. Just the right amount of challenge. The normal mode, it does seem very easy to me. I've only played normal mode once. And I've been, in my current playthrough, in order to grab some of this footage that you're seeing, is on hard mode. So, and you're seeing that, like, even that's, like, whenever your equipment is so high, it doesn't necessarily stop you. Which is why I'm super interested in playing ultra hard now that I have all this great fucking weapons and shit. But another thing is, you only have 3 points of customs on your bows, right? You don't have 4?
Right. Yeah, my most modifications I have is 3. Which I think you said if you do New Game Plus and do ultra hard, you then get a 4th mod slot.
So, the same weapons that you would get, they're the same weapons, but you get an extra slot. And so, it's very, I'll try, if I remember to look for this very specific spot in the video, I will try to show my loadout to you guys at this point. Maybe. So
I was actually thinking about maybe taking my footage from my successful Chieftain run and posting that up as kind of like a tutorial video so that people can see how I pulled that off.
That'd be great.
Same thing.
Maybe you can do it again.
Because I used some strategy. You know?
Yeah. Maybe even do it again.
You think?
Yeah.
We have the footage. We already have the footage, so I can just use that footage and just upload
we'll worry about it later. We'll worry about it later.
So, yeah, go ahead.
No. But for everyone who's just starting out, I don't think hard mode is going to be so terribly difficult that the average person couldn't play it. I think it just, in the beginning, is particularly more difficult, but as time progresses, where you would be overpowered, now you're just, now you're feeling more, more powerful, you know what I mean? You're not just, so overwhelmingly powerful. So, and I think it being difficult is a part of what I really like about the game at some points. I will say the thing that I hate about it being super difficult is the enemy interactions. And I think you were talking about that earlier. A while ago. About how your human fights weren't as good as the machine fights. Do you want to expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, I don't think I've mentioned that here on the Spoilercast, but I know I mentioned that to you, about how I didn't find the fights against humans terribly rewarding. They felt kind of boring overall. Because it was basically, it's one thing or the other. You're either just headshotting them with an arrow or whacking them with your stick, and there wasn't a whole lot of a big thing about Horizon is its uniqueness and gameplay, right? And what you're doing at the bandit camps or against human opponents in general, for the most part, is the same gameplay I've had in other games that I felt like the other games tended to do better, right? I just came off of Assassin's Creed Origins just before playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and while Assassin's Creed Origins doesn't have a hunting down machines equivalent, other than doing the gods trials or whatever, the trials of the gods, where you're fighting against these mystical monsters. Outside of that, you didn't have an equivalent of hunting down giant machines. But there was a whole lot of killing humans with, with a melee weapon of your choice. You could use a sword or a staff, or using a bow. And so it had those kinds of mechanics to fight humans or sneak in and kill humans stealthily. And I have to say, I feel like when it comes to those specific kinds of encounters, Assassin's Creed Origins handled those better. Even by the end of the game, I still felt that Origins did better. But that is the meat of what Assassin's Creed in general is. So it's not what Horizon is.
So I was you're right. So they're different games, but your criticism is real. And I went away from that conversation. I didn't agree with you then, and now after thinking about it, I realized that it was kind of impossible to marry a system where you need wild, specific controls to manage to fight these machines for interesting combat, and it's hard to have separate combat with humans, especially whenever you're mixing the two. And so, their combat has to be... That was just a compromise that they had to do in that situation. But, yeah, I do feel like you're... Like that was a low point, was fighting humans. And if they didn't have you do it so often, it probably wouldn't have been as glaring.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I remember whenever I specifically complained, at the time when I originally was complaining to you about it, it was out of kind of frustration, because I'd gotten accustomed to having a shield and a sword, and I could block a melee attack and then attack, and there wasn't really a block in this game. Horizon doesn't really have a block. You just have to dodge. In Assassin's Creed, I had a mix of both dodge and shield, and so I mixed it up depending on what kind of attacks I was dealing against and stuff. And I feel like, especially starting with Origins, because they revamped the combat system in AC Origins compared to previous AC games, to where I think it's probably the best combat system Assassin's Creed. I think that revamp was an excellent design change. And when it comes to fighting humans, I do feel like it was a step back. But I was just getting frustrated at that point, because I was kind of I was expecting to be able to block. Like, you can't always dodge, right? Sometimes you are, like, in a camp, in a bandit camp, and an enemy comes at you with, you know, their spear or whatever, and you can't roll out of the way. There's just the environment around you doesn't allow it. And not having a block option. I think if there was a block or a parry ability, I think I wouldn't have as much of a complaint against that, but there isn't. Mm-hmm. And so, in those moments, you're just stuck letting them hit you.
Yeah, so I would say if Horizon had a huge weak point for me, and I didn't even realize it until you mentioned it, because, like, you know, my combat, as I was saying before, was very different than yours. I rarely ever allowed myself to be in a position where someone was coming at me, and if I did, it was kind of my fault for letting them even know I was there. And in general, you can do that you can stealth your way into killing everybody throughout the whole game.
Yeah. And
so
since complaining about it and understanding that this is how Horizon is differ from Assassin's Creed Origins for, you know, human-to-human combat, I adjusted my gameplay against them so that I didn't get into that situation much.
Yeah.
You know, I would, you know, keep my distance and either headshot them without them knowing where I am, or, you know, sneak in and stab them stealthily, things like that. And then when I did get to, even if I did get close to close, you know, within close range, and it's silly, right? And this is still another comment about it. It's kind of silly, but like I'd be, you know, 5 feet from someone, close enough range to hit them with a melee, but they have a melee, and so instead of trying to out melee their melee, I would just like leap and move backwards and be in slow motion and pull the bow and shoot them in the face. And I'm like, this is stupidly short to be shooting someone in the face with a bow.
But to be fair, there's a bigger
mechanic of how Horizon is built. This is the better way of handling the situation.
Yeah. To be fair though, their face is a bigger target now. What was Squirrel? I got a question for you. What was your favorite mission type? Like, there were bandit camps, there were the hunting missions, there was cauldrons, the main story side quest. What was the thing you were excited for when it came across to your desk?
So I really liked when you actually started learning, like, the main storyline and all of that. Like, just the story.
So the main, like, learning the lore of the world was, like, super exciting for you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the best. Speaking of the lore of the story, I was talking to you about this. The story is so fucking good. Or at least the way it's presented to you is masterful, in my opinion. And it's one of the best stories I played Last of Us 2, which are great. But this was like just how everything made sense. You know, like everything that occurred in their parallel history would have, I feel like, happened in real life. You know, like as consequence-wise. Does that make sense? How do you guys feel about it?
Squirrel?
You first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. I really liked the main, you know, I really liked what they did with the story. I feel like I did have a better prediction of things than maybe some other people would have, because it does have, I've seen a TV show that had a similar story once. And I don't know if I want to give away like the title of the show, because someone might want to watch that show and that might watch this.
Yeah, it's not the spoilercast of that show.
Yes. But there was a show I saw a few years ago where there was, you know, they had this idea where some scientists knew the world was going to end in a certain way, and so he went around abducting people that had specific skills and then cryogenically froze them for, I don't remember how long, thousands of years maybe, and then started waking them up and building a town in this distant future post-human civilization. And when I was seeing like things and like talking about, you know, them recruiting people with certain skills, I was like, I think I see where this is going. You know, some kind of cataclysmic event ended the ability for humans to survive on the planet, and they came up with some plan, or they knew that one day in the future humans could survive again. Now I thought that they were...
Oh wait, go on.
I thought that they were doing like the show where they had them, you know, they were taking people with skills and then freezing them for long periods of time. Before I understood that they were just needing them to help build the cloning technology and build the AI systems.
And trying to, and also, and you can't forget, they were also trying to capture all of Earth's knowledge. So they were getting like a whole bunch of priests from different religions, a whole bunch of artists.
So the principal core idea of the story I've seen done before, but the nuances of this story were very interesting and different, and made it very intriguing. So I was still pretty entranced by how they answered these things, how and why things happened the way they did. And I have to say, F. Pharaoh.
I was about to say that. Right? Fuck Pharaoh.
Yeah. That guy was...
peacekeeping.
Okay.
So Pharaoh is supposed to be a Elon Musk character. He has a lot of money, a lot of good ideas, and he hires people to create these things and act on them. And he was very privileged in that he had succeeded all that long way until he accidentally created a robot army that eats all organic life in order to create more of itself. With no backdoor. With no backdoor to stop them.
Yeah. The difference between him and Elon Musk is Elon Musk is afraid of AI.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he's terrified of AI.
Yeah.
Have that here.
He is straight up scared of AI. Like, he's
watched Terminator.
I think if I remember, I think he's on some kind of board to specially like try to monitor the development of AI to make sure it doesn't become dangerous or some shit like that. I don't know. That might have just been a conspiracy I read somewhere. I don't know. But point is, this guy though, this Pharaoh guy is such. On one hand, he feels like he's kind of a genius, but then who thinks it's a good idea to make war machines that can self-replicate and eat humans for fuel?
Well, it wasn't specifically humans. It was organic matter, which happened to include humans. Well, I think the irony was we're gonna kill our enemies and turn them into their enemies, which is terrifying.
What did you think of? What did you guys think of that description? What did you think of the description about the first discovery of the machines destroying biofuel or creating biofuel?
The dolphins, and it was probably the last pod of dolphins on the planet. Wow.
Yeah, they talked about how it blended up the dolphins into what was like a bloody, chunky Slurpee of dolphin parts. That description was like really vivid.
Yeah, the dolphins were like so long and things were the oh my god!
Yeah.
They didn't even have a chance to leave. Poor fuckers.
Shit up for months before like it became apparent that they couldn't.
Yeah. Oh man. But okay, it's bad enough though. It's bad enough that Pharaoh created the end of the world, right? But then
they didn't want anyone to learn about what they'd done after they were dead?
Yeah.
Why?
The thing that draws him from idiot to evil villain is when he decided to destroy Apollo, their source of all knowledge of the world, because he didn't think that the new humans in the future should know about the past.
Yeah, he's an asshole. And thank goodness...
He literally murdered like 15 people, all the alphas, to help cover up those tracks as he destroyed Apollo.
Dude, how sad was it when Elizabeth... not Elizabeth. Elizabeth Sobek. How sad was that she managed to make it all the way to her home, and then when you went to go to her grave as Aloy, her clone, effectively, and you see that there is, like the flowers, a triangle of flowers surrounding it.
Yeah, I feel like Gaia did that, because she loved her.
Yeah, that's what made me know that the poems was coming from Gaia. And shit like that. Those metal flowers, because, that's the same design and the same flowers that surround it.
I'm just really looking forward to seeing what they do with all of the story in the next game.
Yeah. I liked how there was that bit where Sobek was asked, about, or she was talking about how if she ever had a child, she would hope that she had a daughter that was curious.
Yeah. She's like, I'd want her to be strong-willed. I want her to be invincible. I want her to be curious. And it's like, that was really powerful.
To me, the curious part was the descriptive.
You're right. That was definitely the linchpin, because that was what Aloy was.
Yeah, I feel like she would have loved Aloy a lot.
This game was, and I don't want to put like a particular bad taste in anyone's mouth, but this game was like a world of believers and one skeptic. One person who's willing to question fucking everything. Yeah. And she had the tools, and there's only one other person. We have an entirely bad organization who has access to the same fucking knowledge, maybe even more so, than Aloy did. And they still followed the Metal Devil.
Yeah.
They were still like, Hades, you're my fucking, and there's only one person besides Aloy who questions, and of course he's gonna be the big bad in the second movie. Silence is fucking...
He's not the big bad, he's gonna be the cause of the rise of the big bad.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Fuck that guy.
I 100% believe that he's going to be the primary antagonist until the very end of the next game.
I suspect the same thing as well. And
the final battle is going to be Hades and the fucking giant metal devils that are littered across the landscape. I like the difference. I like the very obvious difference between things made by Hephaestus and things made by people. The machines look wildly different.
Yeah.
And
the ones made by Hephaestus and the Gaia system overall look animalistic, but not the machines made by man. They are not animalistic at all. They're just straight up dedicated, efficient killing machines.
Yeah.
The most animal-like they get is the disruptors, or the corruptors, with the scorpion tail thing. That's the most animal-like they get.
Yeah.
And even then, that might have been a Hephaestus creation. I don't remember.
No. That was specifically a man-made thing. That's what the Metal Devils were making. Those were the things that was they were able to in the Pharaoh Industries. In Pharaoh Industries, they were touting it as turning your enemies into your allies.
Yes, yeah, I remember that. The hologram the presentation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had the Corruptors. Deathbringer, I think, is the name of the one.
That's right, it was. Yeah, Deathbringers.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Deathbringer is the name of the one that we were getting off.
And so... Yeah, those were so... the Deathbringers, there's no... Of course it's gonna be a fucking... Doomsday machine.
the Pharaoh created machines were all jet black metal killers, and then Hephaestus machines felt more organic.
Yeah, I love that in particular. It was very clear that which was which at the end of the game. Because whenever you first come across a corruptor,
art designers on that, you know.
Yeah. I feel like everything was like taken into account.
I love how like the different like. If you think about the science of how the machines work, it still kind of makes sense, even though it doesn't have to because it's a video game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like in a world where you can attach something to your ear and only you can see it. You know what I mean? Like see things around you. Like that technology.
One day.
Yeah. Honestly, I believe it is my personal opinion that AR technology VR is a temporary thing. It certainly helps us pushing boundaries of technology, but I think that eventually our cell phones will be our glasses. And I think there's going to be a point where Pokemon and Digimon and all of those other little video games, you're going to be able to walk down the street and you have the same app installed as someone else, so you're able to see their Pokemon walking beside them as you're walking with your Pokemon. I think that's just going to be great. I think, honestly, like, all of our business is going to be done on AR technology. And I think that the next logical step would probably be figuring out how to display that into your brain using the little triangles that you get. I forget what they're called. The guitar picks. You know.
I read a
Focus.
I read a book in high school that had that idea where humans had special computer chips in their brain that they were able to use to access like the internet and everything else through their minds. Mm-hmm. Which you had to be able to afford it. If you were poor, you couldn't afford one.
I think that would have been the fucking end of it if that was the case.
Yeah. Like they were expensive, but you could get them, and then you were. The downside is you would get hit with commercials directly in your brain from it. So, like, throughout the book, that was, like, something that would pop up where a commercial would suddenly hit.
What book was that?
I don't remember the title anymore.
Because I read a book that was kind of like that. It was a very sci-fi book called This Alien Shore. And they had computers implanted in their brains when they were babies.
No, that's not the same. Now, the part of the plot of that book had a girl who, her family was poor, and they bought a budget computer chip for her brain, and it was malfunctioning. And that was a big part of the driving plot, was her malfunctioning computer chip in her head. I think they lived on the moon, or they were visiting the moon on vacation or something, I don't remember. Anyway, it was a neat book. It's kind of a scary idea, though. I don't know.
I like the idea that focuses aren't invasive.
Mm-hmm.
So and they don't seem personalized. So it seems like one focus fits all kind of thing.
Do you worry though about like Aloy's gonna have to learn how to work with the focus a little better to keep Silence from spying on her.
Yeah, something that keeps like coming into my head whenever I play the game is that Silence is like looking at her at literally everything. If she's like taking a dump, he's seeing that shit.
Yeah, wants to.
Yeah. He could just spy on you at any fucking time. And she's got no defenses against that shit.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing she can do is, like, take the focus out and, like, put it in a black bag or something.
Yeah. And he could still hear at that point, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he could still hear, probably. But he wouldn't be able to see.
But something that I love that is potentially true is that the technology still works even with rock. Even with it being, like, replaced by rock. And that makes me think, we're getting to the point where, SSDs can survive for hundreds and hundreds of years on a shelf with the information being fine. And, I'm thinking that that's probably where we are at with, like, the Pharaoh focus and shit. Like, all that Pharaoh technology is just, like, embedded in walls in a chip that your focus is reading. And so it's able to still display that technology because technically it's not powered. And I think that is such an interesting concept because that could legitimately be true.
So wild concepts, man. Man, I don't know.
But yeah. So what are you thinking from the plots of this game? Because there's only one loose string that they left, and that was the fact that that Hades is still there. We haven't even seen most of the other AIs.
I'm really hoping that they explore all the other AIs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something I'm kind of hoping that they do, and surprise us all, is the very first mission is you take out Hades.
Oh, yeah?
I want that. I want the main antagonist to be Hephaestus. I want that AI to be like, I'm so fucking tired of people killing my machines. In fact, I think that Hephaestus would probably be most angry at Aloy for constantly taking over his machines. And I want to see a dedicated attack against Aloy for the second game.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea to try to kill off Hades early on, right? I think it would make more sense with Hephaestus and Hades working together. I like how the names are all, Greek, the Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm.
Like how they got that draw. I'm hoping in the next game and maybe beyond or whatever, that we can not only... I'm hoping that we try to restore Gaia. I'm hoping that we go into the Forbidden West and try to further restore Gaia.
I feel, and that's kind of like why I was thinking we need to get rid of Hades. I think that Hades' story is over. I think that we needed a reason to have a second game. I think Sylens will exist past Hades. And I think that it's smarter for the developers to relieve us of the dead end that is Hades and be like, okay, now Sylens is wanting to take over the world or some bullshit, because like he's hungry for something, and it's not just knowledge. So otherwise, but he now knows that Hephaestus and the other AIs exist. It makes more sense for you to take out Hades and for you to try to restore Gaia Prime, all the while trying to avoid Hephaestus and his angry machines attempting to kill you in particular.
Well, I'd like to see some other involvement with other AIs as well.
I agree.
Like, wouldn't it be neat if there was some sort of discovery that somewhere out there is a copy of Apollo that wasn't destroyed?
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I would love that.
And Sylens is the one that discovers that it exists and tries to use you to find it and repair it or something?
So honestly, I think I would like that to be the third game.
Yeah.
I would like, because like, if I think it would be really, I think Gaia, I think the second game should be trying to get to Gaia all the while trying to shut down Hephaestus. Personally, in my personal opinion.
Or reslaving him to Gaia.
Yeah, or reslaving him to Gaia. But I was thinking but fixing Gaia would be the end of the trilogy that they're making. Right? Because it is a trilogy. Wouldn't that be the big...
I just heard of the trilogy. I just heard the sequel.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I believe I heard that there's a trilogy happening. But I don't want them to exhaust all of their stuff all at once, you know what I mean? What other? So there's Hephaestus, there's Gaia, there's Apollo, there's Hades, who else? What other AIs? Because there's like 6 AIs.
There's quite a few.
I'm bad with names.
I was just doing a quick look to see if there was plans Yeah, so apparently there are plans for a whole trilogy.
Yep. So, so it would make sense for the ending of the second game to be like a path open to Aloy to be able to do be able to reactivate Gaia Prime. Like that sounds like a final game.
So, yeah, reviving Gaia Prime could be the final game. So for the second game, maybe
the path
she's fighting
to get there.
Silence. Yeah, fighting Silence, and the second game could be. I mean, maybe the second game would be trying to recover Apollo.
Maybe Apollo. Silence. Yeah, Apollo has all the information in the world, probably with the mother code for Gaia.
Yeah. So maybe there's a copy of Apollo or some form of remains of Apollo out there that Silence discovers because of Hades and needs your help to recover it, and then lures you into trying to recover it but betrays you.
Like always?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He at the very beginning he says one of the lessons you need to learn is to not trust, because trust makes very uneasy bedfellows. And I'm like, yeah, this guy, I can't sleep with him around.
Yeah.
It's like he needs to find another fucking bush to lay in, because I ain't fucking letting him in mine.
So, so I think that would be like a really good direction for the second game to be the main plot of the second game.
Speaking of...
go
on.
Before we went somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, then go after repairing Gaia Prime.
Because I do know they have to make more machines, but explain why we haven't been seeing them.
Yeah.
And, I really do think that Hephaestus should be a bigger part in the second one. God, I want to see more machines. And Hephaestus is going to get me there, goddammit.
Yeah.
But speaking of Silence...
well, what about Silence creating machines himself, designing new machines?
I was actually just going to suggest that.
Yeah.
That could be... Dude, you and I had the same fucking idea. That would be fucking awesome. Like seeing... I don't know if he has the imagination for that, though.
I don't know. I mean, he was talking about how he's been learning calculus and all these other elements of, knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And with the help of Hades, learning all kinds of
he's
knowledge.
he's definitely got a head start on Aloy in terms of like general knowledge, but Aloy learned to read. I mean, that's a big fucking deal comparatively.
She learned young age. That was kind of cute when she was a little kid, using the focus.
Yeah.
Studying everything.
I don't think she ever learned how to read their language. I think because the focus translates languages. And so, she was able to read all of the other languages that she came across. She doesn't know how to speak Karja, or like read Karja. And they do
do we have any reason to believe that the Karja has a different written language?
I'm not entirely... I think yes, because the Nora Hunting Ground plaques that you see with shit written on it, you can see it. You can see the language on the slabs of stone carved in, and then in front of it, hovering over, is a hologram of what with the focus is a hologram of what it says in English. And so it's translating that into English. She only ever learned English. So so she doesn't know how to read other languages.
I don't know. I would think she would at least know how to read Nora because she was raised by Rosh.
Ross, but Ross wasn't.
You don't think Ross taught her how to read their language, the Nora language?
Maybe, but if that was the case, they wouldn't have put so much emphasis on translating it to English. From a gameplay perspective, that'd be a useless thing if she could just read it.
sure.
I didn't think about that, so I don't know. I have to like go and look at it because I.
Yeah, almost everything that has written language is written either you scan it. The focus either scans it, and she's able to read it through the scanning in English in like the pad that is your menu, or it is holographically displayed on top of the original language that it is, because it is a separate language with its own characters. It's not in English.
Well, she might be, at least by writing terms, at least bilingual between Nora and English.
If she's able to like read in English, and Rost is trying to teach her Nora language, she could just cheat. Like, there's no reason to have learned both, because she could cheat with the fucking focus. She could be like, "Oh yeah, I know how to read this, Rost." You know what I mean? And then just read it to him. He's like, "Oh, okay." So, I don't know. I don't know the specifics of it. But, I think that's fascinating. That's such an interesting little thing that, like you said, most people don't think about. They just accept it as canon and move on.
A lot of interesting nuance throughout this game.
Speaking of nuance, what about the voice actors? Ashley Birch. Hey Ash, what you playing? Or she played as which is a YouTube channel, or she played in Borderlands 2 and 3 as what's her name? It's a little bunny hat girl. I forget what her name is.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, she's the boom boom girl. She's an explosive expert. She's like a little tiny.
I don't. But her.
Yeah, Ashley Birch is fantastic, and I already had a crush on her before this game ever came out. And halfway through this game, Aloy said something, and I was like, "Wait a second, I recognize this voice." I looked it up, and I'm like, "Oh, I love her even more now." Like, I had no idea she was played by Ashley Birch, which was fantastic, and like just her cadence was so natural. Like, Aloy seemed like a real person in this game. Like, she reacted to things the way I would react to things, like incredulously. Like when you saw 2 bedrolls, your reaction would have been the same, right? It's like, you know what? I'm gonna check around anyway. You know what I mean? Now you saying that makes me want, like that's how you would react. And God, like this, the writing is to blame, but also the voice actors involved. And this entire time I've been trying to think of who plays Silence. I know who he is. I cannot think of his name.
I don't know, but he's pretty good too.
Yeah, he's a very prominent actor. You hear him all the time in places. But I think he did a great job.
Reddick.
Huh?
His name is Reddick.
Right, yeah. He's everywhere. He does a lot of things.
Reddick. He's in John Wick.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's the concierge with John Wick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good actor, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think Silence could have been played by a better person. I
really loved Ross. I was really sad when he died.
It's unfortunate, because Ross was such an interesting character. I would not mind a side game, maybe a smaller game, that explored why Rost was kicked out. Because we know why he was kicked out, but exploring it.
Yeah, we got the story.
He kicked himself out, though.
Yeah, but I don't know. Just I want more Rost. I'll take anything more Rost.
He's an interesting character. Strict and everything. I like that part where he was telling Aloy, little kid Aloy, that stop fooling around with that little toy, and then she uses it to successfully sneak around. He's like, all right, maybe it wasn't just a toy.
Yeah, I love it. Bro, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, he was very like you gotta honor, these are forbidden grounds. And she's like, we're already fucking outcasts. We don't have to follow their rules.
Yeah. Aloy hated rules.
Yeah. I think it's because she recognized... I don't think she hated rules to be a rebel. I think she recognized they were stupid fucking rules. And she wouldn't have gotten to that point of skepticism had she been raised in the village.
I'm actually glad she wasn't, because it made her an interesting character.
Yeah, I think, and the writers of the video game doesn't explicitly say it, but she's an atheist, like of their religion.
They have a word for it.
Yeah, they don't. It's just like you're an outlander, you're an outcast.
Yeah.
Like you were born of the metal devil, maybe.
Yeah.
I just love the parallels. And not in the term that you and I are used to, you know what I mean, but just in general, like, of their language or of their religion.
Yeah, I like the conversation that she has in the Frozen Wilds with Cyan, where her and Cyan are talking about how they're not sure if other people are ready for the conversation, that they aren't gods, that they're aren't
yeah. Like, Cyan recognizes that, and that's super weird to see.
Yeah.
I think
she was too smart for the Turing test, She was technically illegal to exist in her time in the old world.
I really liked that facility, like sneaking around and that whole thing. So, okay, what are your opinions on the Frozen Wilds DLC? Because before you finished it, halfway through, you were like, "This is main story light." Has your opinions changed?
Yeah,
not much. It's basically it's still pretty much main story light with different AIs.
So.
He's not in it much, but
he talks to you and stuff in it, like he does on the main quest. So
he only talks to you like 3 times though throughout the whole Frozen Wilds.
That's more than Gaia does.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, you're going in. There was now again the nuance. There's nuance to it that's unique, but the overarching thing is you've got Cyan, the basically the Gaia of that region, being overtaken by a demonic AI, Hephaestus in this case, which is the Hades of the Frozen Wilds.
Love how that facility, I think that's a different facility, but I really loved how they did a random thing, my brain went random, how they kept Yellowstone from exploding.
Oh yeah, the description of Yellowstone, yeah. But yeah, and then they
wait, let's explore that. How did they do that, Allie?
They had the facility there underground, and it altered the magma chamber so that it didn't pressurize and explode and have the super volcano go off.
Right, but they were using it to power the facility.
Yes.
Which was super crazy. Yeah. Like that in fact, I think that powers all of the facilities.
Yeah, I was saying though that they then had, demonic machines, which was just corrupted machines, So it was just, it was a lot of... Now, the differences being is, instead of, convincing the Karja to work with you, you had to convince the Banuk, and the Banuk have a very different tribal customs.
Banuks, by the way, are my favorite race of people.
I'm pretty sure they came out of a different place.
A different
mountain.
Just a different mountain?
Yeah, because they were travelers. They clearly were not from there. And you played the DLC immediately after, but before that, there was only one Banuk town that you ever saw where all the machines were temporarily really nice to everybody. And that was all you got besides the Banuk idols. And, like, collecting all those idols were like, oh, these are mysterious fucking nomads. You know what I mean? Like, what are they like? And then you learn. And then, like, it's just so interesting.
There was one Banuk down in the main part of the game who was was an outcast of the Banuks, where he would drink the blood of the machines to know their knowledge.
Oh, yeah. What a weirdo.
Yeah. He was so weird, but he was also bizarrely accurate with his dreams.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was,
He had some solid insight for a guy who was getting his information by drinking the blood of dead machines.
Like the oil and shit? Yeah, that was, now you could, just chalk it up to accidental randomness, but the game does not suggest that. Like, there was some weird bullshit happening right there. That was super fun.
It might be indicating that he is somehow, you know, I don't know, somehow there's information in their fluid that he's able to tap into when he drinks it. That, I don't know.
That's super interesting.
Weird. It's really bizarre. The mission... Okay, I'll say with that particular... I think that was the side quest I disliked the most.
Really? It was just a fetch quest.
Huh? Yeah.
It was just fetch quest.
Yeah. The little cutscenes and the bizarre conversations were interesting. But the actual quest itself was obnoxious, because it's like, leave from there, go get a sawtooth, come back, give it to him, leave, go get a disruptor blood, come back, go out, get a stormblood, Stormbird blood, come back, go out, get a Thunderjaw blood, come back, and it's like, how many of these fucking things are going to send me after? This is getting annoying.
That's a good question. Allie, what was your least favorite mission that you can recall?
I can't remember.
It's been
a while.
I would probably say, there was a mission that I recall. It's super easy for me now, but it wasn't fun back then. It was, I'm trying to remember what it is. It was pretty early on. Anyway, essentially you had to, footstep-wise, go to, like track a guy, and then someone was stealing fruits from a hut. And, do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, you had to, like, track the fruits on the ground.
Yeah.
There was, like, fruits every so many feet that got dropped.
I did not, at that point, have a good grasp of how to use the focus.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was... I spent, like, a couple of very frustrating hours trying to figure that shit out. I feel kind of ashamed to admit that, but on my very first playthrough, and forever, that will remain my least favorite memory because of how frustrated I got. I was like, how am I supposed to track this shit? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. There was one that I got kind of frustrated. Well, not frustrated. There was this one other quest that I fell on was kind of lame, a lame duck quest. But it's not quite accurate to say that the whole quest was lame. Just 2/3 of it was. And it was for the prison, right? There's this prison that you find, I think in the southwest area of the Karjas, I think is where it was, of the Sundom. And, a Karja prison where 3 prison inmates escaped. Like, you get there and there's a couple of behemoths attacking, which turns out you have to actually kill both behemoths to move on. Because I overrided the first one, and then got him to kill the other one, and then it didn't progress the story. It was like, kill the behemoths. It's like, fuck, I gotta kill the one I befriended? Damn it. And so,
have you noticed that it's harder to kill the ones you befriend than it is to...
Yeah, because you boost your hit points and stuff.
Yeah, I think they get stronger when you befriend them, but I'm not sure.
I believe that's the case.
Anyway, so that's how it starts, and then you're told that there's 3 escapees, and you have to track down the 3. And one of them is, you find one of them who's been, like, horribly beat up by another gang or something, and you kill those other gang people or whatever, and then he collapses to his death, right? I was like, that one's okay. The lame duck one, which probably wouldn't have been a lame duck if I hadn't already cleared the bandit camp. There's one that's like hiding inside of a bandit camp, and she's not really hiding. She's in a bandit camp and has like prisoners. And I was literally able to just like walk up behind her, and I was literally just like, I was standing as close to her as I am now to Squirrel. Right? I was behind her, like right there. And it didn't trigger a cutscene or any dialogue. She was still talking to her prisoners, ignoring me. So then while standing there, I just like pulled out a triple-notched sniper arrows, shot her in the head. And then I got this weird glitch where I had her like saying the lines that she would say at the moment that she saw me, and then challenged me to a fight, and then falls over dead. So she's like, she's already dead when she's telling me. She's like, "You won't get me alive, you know, Nora," or whatever, and then it's dead.
That's fucking hilarious. I wish you recorded. Did you record that?
I don't think I saved that footage.
Oh my god, that would have been fucking hilarious.
I did have a few funny bug things that happened to me throughout the game. I can tell about those in a minute. But the third guy, and I don't remember what order I did them, but one of the 3 guys was actually pretty interesting. I think it was one of the, and Squirrel here saw me doing this one, and she's like, "I don't remember this one." And he's like a bombs expert or a traps expert or something, and you're like trying to make your way through this like ravine. He's like hiding someplace, and every so often there's like a green box that's set on a proximity alert that blows up if you get near it.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah. Now, by the time I got there, there was absolutely no chance of him killing me. I was so OP by then, I could literally just walk up to every one of them, let it blow up on me, and then not even heal myself, just keep walking and hit the next one. But if I wasn't OP by the time I got there, because it was like a level 12 side quest, and I was level 60. with the overshield, you know.
I think it'd have been a lot more exciting if you'd have done shit in order.
Yeah. So if I'd done it early, well, I didn't happen to find it until later. It was in a town that I didn't even visit until I was at 98%. I was like, where's the last 2% of this game? At that point, I had to Google it because I was like, where's the last? I'm at 98%. What am I missing? And I found that I was missing 2 side quests, and that was one of them.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and I was actually, but I was looking at this going, I bet you this would have been exciting as crap if I'd been in this area at an appropriate level. Like, it's interesting now, and I think it would have been exciting then.
Yeah.
Because it was a unique experience, because it's just a whole series of traps, and at the end he blows himself up.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and I thought it was funny, I thought it was amusing, and it was an interesting, like, unique little adjustment to something, and yet, I was, 85 hours into the game at that point and hadn't seen that happen yet, that particular kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a very unique experience. And quickly, because we need to wrap it up, quickly tell us your other experiences with the glitches.
Glitches? Well, early on, I had this one glitch that kind of pissed me off where I managed to get stuck underground. Like, I glitched through stone and was stuck, like, underneath a paved road and a wall of a building or whatever. But, because since the last time I'd saved, I just, like, took down what at the time was difficult, machines. I did not want to have to go back, and so I spent, I think, like 3 whole minutes just rolling in different directions until I finally rolled out of that glitch.
So, my most annoying glitch when I played, when you had to go back to the Norlands and go back inside the mountain, that fucking gate was shut and wouldn't open, and I had to go mountain climbing like I'm just playing Skyrim again to get inside.
That's hilarious. I've played the game and done a lot of like wacky shit, but aside from some like weird waypoint bugs, I've not actually encountered any real bugs with the game until recently.
I did save some footage of this next bug. You know those grazer statues that you knocked down? There's like 23 grazer statues.
Yeah.
There was one that was glitched, where it wouldn't stay down. It kept toggling back up and then fall back down again.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I got it on footage of it like standing back up and then falling back down, and I was like,
that's so funny.
Yeah, I still was able to pop the trophy. It still counted.
I didn't know that was a trophy until I got it for just having done it.
Yeah.
Just beating up on these dummies. So okay, overall impressions. What is, we'll start with Allie. I'm sorry, Squirrel. We will get it right one of these days.
No.
What was your most interesting one? I'm sorry. Your most I asked the wrong question. Oh, it's so late now that we're recording.
Overall.
Yeah. What was your overall experience? Like how did you feel about the game?
I really loved all the attention to detail they put into the game. Like, everything that had a lot of thought put into it. All the lore objects, I loved checking those out and finding those. It's just, the viewpoints were a really nice touch, because you could, like, see windows into the past. It was really beautiful.
Oh yeah, the viewpoints were awesome. That's something we didn't even touch on.
Yeah, and viewpoints are beautiful, and everyone should look at those just because, like, you can see a viewpoint into the history of the game, because it's like a window back into time.
Yeah. It's like an AR. This is what it looked like. My two favorite ones is the Pharaoh building and the stadium. Like the music stadium.
The stadium was awesome, and it had the beautiful sunrise and shit.
Oh yeah, it was particularly great. You didn't know that you were standing on bleachers until you saw that waypoint.
I was like, this is a weird terrain. I remember climbing up it and being like, this is a bizarre formation here. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, waypoints are great. I really enjoyed it.
Viewpoints.
Oh, viewpoints, that's right. Viewpoints, not waypoints.
Yeah,
waypoints are also great, let's be honest with you.
Yeah.
What about you, Lurch?
Overall, I really liked the game a lot. It was a whole lot of fun. I did, like I mentioned earlier, I came onto this game right after finishing, spending 80 hours or something in Assassin's Creed Origins. And so there was a few things that in certain capacities I felt like this AC did a little bit better. Like the climbing mechanics was difficult for me at first, because in AC you can climb anything where it looks like there's a jutted out edge of any kind, right? It's so freeform with climbing.
But in Horizon, you have to look for the pig ledges.
In Horizon, it's using exactly the same climbing mechanic as Uncharted. And having to tell myself I'm using Uncharted climbing mechanics. I had to remind myself I'm doing Uncharted climbing mechanics while playing it, especially early on. And then also I had a lot of problems because square and circle basically do the same functions for both games, except for exactly flipped around. where one crouches to hide in the grass and whatnot, and the other one rolls. And the one of them drops down to a ledge.
Oh yeah, that was particularly frustrating with you early on.
Yeah, that was early. Almost half of my deaths in that game happened in the first 10 hours of the game, and were caused by those two buttons being flipped around.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, either I would mean to drop down on a ledge and instead roll off the cliff, or a monster would be coming at me and I try to roll out of the way. Instead, I duck in front of it as it hits me, or some shit like that. That stuff was frustrating. But with that said, something I think this game deserves a ton of credit for, that I think was on a technical level pretty astronomically impressive, is it managed to have this huge open world with the graphical fidelity that it has. Right? AC Origins, is a huge world, and it looks good for what it is, but the visual difference between that and Horizon is way above it, and the details and the level of graphical power that you're seeing there,
Yeah.
And so I really loved that. I was at awe at how big the world was and how detailed it was simultaneously. Because whenever you get to a big world, you usually are losing some level of quality. But like Uncharted has a crazy high level of quality in the visuals, but you're in a confined small space relatively.
Right.
Speaking, right? And you're traveling from one small space to another small space
with loading screens.
Yeah, with Uncharted. Whereas Horizon isn't using all these loading screens, but manages to maintain the same, close to the same visual, quality as Uncharted does. And that was a technical marvel in my book,
Yeah. Oh yeah, it looks gorgeous, and their day and night cycle was great.
Yeah.
They have I don't know if you had an opportunity to play with the photo mode, but that is some of the most it has some of the best photo realistic shit, and the graphics actually get better in photo mode. So you're able to change the time of day, you're able to change the weather that's happening and shit like that in order to get certain shots in. It's fucking beautiful.
I almost never messed around with photo modes. The last time I can actively remember messing around with the photo mode was in Metal Gear Solid, because in certain places you could use your camera to take pictures of ghosts of the developers of the game.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was like a hidden thing where you could find the ghosts of a lot of the key developers.
There's only 3 video games that I ever used photo mode for: Horizon Zero Dawn, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which that's awesome. I love their photo mode thing. You can do selfies and stuff.
I swear to God, if he says Pokemon Go.
I did not know you could do that in Pokemon Go. But no, I was gonna say Godzilla the 2015, which is the PS4 version, or in PS3, PS4, you actually have what's called diorama mode, which is practically, and I have an image of Godzilla roundhouse kicking the Eiffel Tower as my Facebook banner, when you visit my profile. And that was super fun to unlock all those models. So that was a great addition to that game.
Yeah.
But Horizon has a really in-depth photo mode, and it's worth checking out just for the beautifulness of it. Especially if you have a PS4. This is just in general. Especially if you have a PS4 and a TV capable of 4K, because it matters.
Or the PC version that can run if you have a 4K PC
and monitor. Yeah. It's worth it to do it just because the graphics get even better.
Yeah. I'll say though, one of the things that kind of bugged me a little bit on the game in terms of the controls was the hopping. Hopping while fighting worked fine, but the hopping to climb things, right? Whenever you're trying to climb, when you need to get up to something, because there was plenty of times where there was a place to climb up to, on a mountain, where I don't think there was a ledge system to climb your way up, an Uncharted climbing system. So in those moments, I was doing a Skyrim hop, basically.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And I didn't like it. I felt like every time I was stuck doing the Skyrim hop, I was like, it pulled me out of the immersion of the game. I was like, okay, I'm playing a video game now.
Yeah, and you're right about that. But they couldn't just let you do whatever you wanted either. They're very, gameplay wise, they couldn't let you just climb everywhere. They would have had to have designed the world very differently. In a way, like I love Breath of the Wild, but the fact that they let you climb everything means that you could not have a tightly packed world.
But, all the areas where there's, big hills, and, cliff things that you have to get up by doing the Skyrim hop, I think it should have been able to let you,
So they are incentivizing you to go through paths to get up there, because there are paths. For instance, there's a mountain where you have to go either around the mountain or get to the plateau on the top, or if you go in a very specific part, there's actually a rock path that you can climb up, and there's generally in most places 2 ways to get up there, anywhere.
I did. He didn't walk around those mountains and stuff. I would walk around the base looking for the right way. He didn't do that.
Yeah. So there is a.
I climbed up. Once I got to the top, I would look around, and there was some of them. There was absolutely not a path.
So if there's one with not a path, then you missed where you needed to climb up, because not everywhere that you climb up has a yellow knot. So some of them are just white marked cliff points, and so they're really hard to see. But if someone expects you to get up to a plateau, there's a thing there. There is a way to get up there without having to Skyrim hop. There is never a point in Horizon where you have to Skyrim hop to get somewhere.
Unless you have the bug I have.
Oh yeah, unless you got that bug. But I mean, not legitimately. You should legitimately be able to go everywhere without having to do that. That's not a function of the game. So
it felt like the function of the game. It felt like I had to do it.
I mean, it's because I think you just need to circle around until you can find the footholds. But it's fine. So what? All right. So everybody knows. On our new system, I will say that this is one of the best games I've ever played, if not the best game I ever played. 10 out of 10 for me. What about you, Allie? Squirrel. Shit. Squirrel.
You're hopeless.
I am. I'm the worst.
Well, my brain isn't very good at reading things with the number systems, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed Mass Effect.
Wow, that's saying something, because Mass Effect is... The trilogy as a whole is a 9.5.
Yeah, you know how passionate I am about Mass Effect, so I liked it that much.
Wow. So 10 out of 10 for Allie.
Sounds like it.
Squirrel. Shit.
I told you you're hopeless.
Yeah, I am the worst.
45 seconds.
It took me forever to learn her name, and now you're telling me to say a different name? It's impossible. All right. What about you, Lurch?
I feel like, despite the quirks or the small things I did bring up that I did have some issue with here and there, I still felt like as a whole, though, it was a masterpiece of a game. And there's a few things I would like to see adjusted a little bit for the sequel. But I think the game is about as good as anyone could possibly ask for, especially for the first game in a series. And it's not something I would give out often, but I feel like this game earns the 10 out of 10.
Really? Wow. Yeah. I have explicitly not asked you that question, but I think it's awesome.
It to you.
Huh?
I said if you'd asked me before filming, I wouldn't have given you the answer. I would have just been like, we'll see what I think when we get to the spoiler cast.
That's awesome to hear. It is a great game. I am so excited for Forbidden West.
So yeah, I think it's worth bringing up my complaints, but the pros of it are so high, and it has a few flaws, but in the end, I like the game so much that I made the effort to get a platinum trophy. And as many games as I like to play, I don't take the time to get the platinum very often. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I own a couple of thousand video games. I don't have the time to platinum most of them.
Yeah.
But when I really love a game, and I feel like I can't get enough of it, those are the ones I'm going to be going after the platinums.
That's awesome.
And I don't think I could give the game a lower score than that, even despite a few complaints I do have.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, I'm just super excited. Well, I hope that our opinion, either you did not care about spoilers and you're here having never played the game, then I hope we convince you to play it, because it's super fun, and us explaining it isn't going to give you the same experience as you playing it.
Yeah.
And if you did... Huh?
I was going to say, leave us some comments.
Yeah.
Tell us what we're wrong about. And we like to have conversation with viewers as well.
Yeah. We had a really good one about our Final Fantasy Spoilercast. We had a really in-depth conversation with one of our viewers. So
yeah,
it was pretty good.
That was a fun conversation. So I'd like to see that happening again.
Yeah.
So give us in-depth thoughts on it, and maybe things that we didn't think about or
talk about the things that you loved about the game.
Yeah. So what was your favorite part of the game?
Yeah. Who, mine or the viewers?
The viewers.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure because you stopped. They had a full stop right there. I was like, so please like, subscribe, share this video. We love making them, but you have to tell us you like them for us to continue making them.
Yeah. Yeah. And check out our other videos too. We've got spoiler casts on Last of Us 2. We got spoiler casts on Final Fantasy 7 Remake. We're going to be making a Death Stranding one soon.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for that. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know whenever we get that put out. And we put out gameplay footage every day for games that we've been working on playing. And we live stream twice a week, Sundays and Tuesdays.
Yeah, Sundays and Tuesdays. Tomorrow we're going to be, or not tomorrow, it wouldn't be tomorrow for you guys. So we're doing summer games for as long as the summer games on Overwatch. By the time this is released, that should still be going on. So please tune in, and if you happen to miss one, we upload them on YouTube after. So join us, and we hope you guys have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.